Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Sklverlight Show. The Sklverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. Well, it's an interesting day. People often talk about the invisible hand of economics, which means that as supply goes up and down, as demand goes up and down, prices will adjust accordingly. I've often said I do not believe in the invisible hand of economics, but we're seeing a very, very visible set of economics decisions. In March, retail sales rose by 0.7%. Yes, that's 0.7%. And this is down from 0.9%. Now, they give a whole list of nonsense items like display cases and, furniture from IKEA basically. But most telling, they list Walmart. Walmart in December said that it was going to lower grocery prices this year. Now, why is that? And by the way, I will be posting the link to the original CNN article I'm pulling this from in the box down below. Well, Walmart has said their most effective lever to boost sales is to lower prices because it gets customers' attention or awareness, as the article says. You get them into the stores and convince them to open their wallets and spend. In other words, they want to lower your grocery bill. Now, they're trying to be magnanimous here and say, oh, we're doing this to give customers a better value. No, that's not even close to the truth. The fact is they have a ton of product lying around because people can no longer afford roast beef. People can no longer afford whatever you want to pick. My wife was buying celery the other day, and she said, it's $3 for a thing of celery. And you know my bacon and celery correlation. So, when the big retailers are getting squeezed, they have no choice but to do something to take that tension off of them. While it is a matter of supply and demand, it's not a product of the invisible hand. Walmart's basically admitting for the past few years they've been raising prices by 20 and 30%. Now, we all knew that. I don't think there's anybody so insulated in this world that they would just hand their butler a few $100s and say, pick me up some oranges. I don't think that's a very big percentage. But for Johnny and Susie that live in an apartment, they can't afford those oranges at all. It's not in the budget. There's a lot of ramifications to this. Well, first of all, they're going to cut back a little bit from their record profit taking in order to get you into the store so that you'll buy two things instead of one thing. And that keeps their flow through rates up. Yes, they measure flow through rates because that pack of oranges, if nobody's buying it, they can't justify having it on the shelf. And Walmart signs contracts years in advance saying we need 20,000 cases of oranges delivered to store 992. And whatever farmer is lucky enough to get that contract at least has a guaranteed source of income. Although, trust me, Walmart is not doing them any favors. Basically, what you have here is a perfect example of how trickle-down economics does not work, and never has. They were exploiting the system until it reached its breaking point, and now people are being very careful. Oatmeal. I don't love oatmeal, let me be honest. I don't hate it, don't love it. But for breakfast, it's a heck of a lot cheaper to buy a bunch of oatmeal than it is to buy a bunch of bagels, unless you make the bagels yourself. After all, if you can bake or you can, cook, a lot of your options become substantially better. Let's leave it at that. Your 5 pound bag of flour, you can either turn that into a pie, and I mean a meat pie, a strawberry pie, whatever kind of pie you have. Excuse me. Or if you're a little more industrious, you can turn that same flour into bagels. You can sell some, keep some. There's all sorts of things you can do if you have the talent. But for the average working person, and nothing against working people, they're the ones that keep the world going around. They want to wake up, grab their bagel, plunk it in their toaster oven, whatever it is, and then eat it on their way to work. It's not so easy. Excuse me, I'm coming down with something. It's not so easy to stop and even make pancakes. Pancakes, a little bit of flour, a little bit of milk, maybe an egg, depending on what you want, a little bit of sugar, stir it around, pour it in, you're done within minutes. People aren't even doing that anymore. And Walmart, Starbucks, etc., the bunch of them are counting on us remaining as ignorant sheep. But no, we got the evidence. We got analysts saying, hey, we're at the end of this gravy train. We've raised prices as high as they can naturally go. And the only other consequence that can happen is you lower prices and allow people to buy more. Otherwise, they're just going to buy the staples. Rice is a good staple. Potatoes are a good staple. You can make a whole lot with them, and then whatever's in the discount bin, you're going to grab that and get out of there. You're not going to spend $50, $60 for prime rib, because you can do the exact same thing with ground beef. Might not be as tasty, but you see where I'm going with this. But for the big wigs to come out, and for Walmart to say it's lowering prices, first of all, I'll believe it when I see it. Because Walmart doesn't lower prices. They raise them quietly. And it's hard to say people don't shop at Walmart, because they do. Because it's cheap, it's convenient. I don't shop at Walmart because, quite frankly, I don't like a lot of their business practices. And this is an example of how they're admitting they've overcharged to the point where people can't stand it anymore. And this is after, remember, Walmart came into a lot of cities, a lot of towns, and drove their competition out of business. So once you got a monopoly, you charge what you want. And Walmart's had that monopoly for quite some time. I'm picking on Walmart because they're specifically named in the article. Now, here's the funny thing. This article proves we can't turn around, oh, these high prices are Joe Biden's fault. No. Oh, these high prices are, Pierre Trudeau's fault. Pierre. Justin Trudeau's fault. No. They had nothing to do with this. Just like I said a while ago, this is a result of greedy multinational corporations not caring about anything but the bottom line. And right now, their own metrics are telling them for their own self-preservation, they need to take a step back and tell the shareholders, we're gonna fix the rate of sales, but there might not be as much profit at the end of the year, because it's the shareholders and bondholders that are the ones benefiting from this all. Not you, not I, but them. And that's why Walmart would move into towns, destroy the competition, and then close down, because those towns weren't worth their time. They only did it to keep people dependent on the little Happy Face brand. Now, when I put this article up, I do hope you give it a read, because, quite frankly, it's astonishing what is contained. I want to believe in capitalism. I want to not only give it the benefit of the doubt, but have faith in it. When you get things like these, and it's beyond insane because it shows corporate greed. If you're willing to pay it, they're willing to charge it. In my past, I've seen a few negotiations that were so ridiculously against us. And the question is, why are you giving us this business? Because with this business, it gives us this other business. Okay, that makes sense. It sucks. And we're losing money on that one. And of course, that's the one they're going to use most of the time. But a place like Walmart, groceries are not really a tough science. I mean, there's certain times of years potatoes are going to be cheaper because the harvest time and things like that. It's not beneficial to anybody to try to, what's a good word? To try to overprice them when they're the most plentiful, because people will either go somewhere else or do without them. Same with rice. Rice is a wonderful commodity because it lasts for a long time, longer than potatoes. And yeah, and the grocery stores aren't saying we learned a lesson. They're figuring this is a short-term deal. Say they raise the price of your favorite food 30%, and we all know it's much more than that. It's gone up 300% in some. Look at celery. Until 2019, a bunch of celery cost 99 cents. Now it's $3.99. That's not a 20 or a 30% increase. And I'm not even talking the rich here, like the working class. I don't like that, but I don't like lower class either. The lower income class, they just simply gave up on affording anything other than a hamburger. The middle class, the ones that remain, have also given up on that once in a while luxury. And when you start alienating the middle class, you're alienating your prime customers. They're not really your whales, but unfortunately the rich don't need a whole lot of food. They they have smaller families, they have, a personal chef who's probably not going to go to a Walmart. He probably has a supplier deliver the stuff to their house. And they're an entirely different group. Ever gone to Walmart and found that gold plate that they put on the premier dishes, which I understand tastes horrible? No, you don't, because their main audience of the lower income and middle income classes simply aren't making dishes like that. No. And this article lays it all plain. They've been on the receiving end of economics for so long, they have to remember about price cuts. And it's not just to flush product out of their system before the stale date. A lot of people depend on reasonably priced stuff. Again, apples and oranges. Maybe your local retail store will be different, but overall, they're expensive as hell at the present time. So anyways, I'm going to leave you with this article to read because it lays bare the fact that Walmart and other multinationals have been willingly price gouging you for years. And now they're going to give a little bit back in hopes that you buy 2 packs of Doritos instead of 1. And with that, we hope you enjoyed this episode of the Sklverlight Show, even with my cold. If you did, please like, share, because sharing is caring. Subscribe, because, well, if you haven't already. Don't forget to click the bell icon down below so that way you can be notified every time that we put out a new episode, which is every day at noon. And we hope you have a fantastic day.